In the past few weeks, I've looked at hundreds of UX design portfolios. Well, some of these portfolios have stood out to me because they were working on good problems or the process that they were following, while others not so much. And the reason was that they were making some very common mistakes. So in this video, I want to talk about 5 common mistakes that UX beginners make in their UX design portfolio. Let's go. Number 1, stacking a lot of work. So what I've seen as a general practice is people want to put out all the posters that they have made, all the graphics that they have made, if they have designed any logos and things like that, and they're calling it UX design portfolio. What they don't understand is by adding a few UX case studies that they have done, it's just making it look bad. As a recruiter, I'm not very sure that, hey, if you're serious about making a career in UX design. And what as a practice I've also seen is they jumbled it across. So at the first position, which is the prime real estate, they're putting some logo work or some poster design or illustration or something like that, which on its own is not bad work. But as a recruiter, I'm looking for a person who is good at UI UX design, and this is irrelevant for me. Number 2, the problem or why this is a problem in the first place is not very clear. The focus is more on the features that they are trying to build and how they are trying to build, and not so much on what are the user's problem, goals, motivations in the first place. More often than not, this happens because when the product manager or the engineering manager came to you and asked you to build that feature, you didn't have this conversation with them, which goes something around this line: hey, this is a wonderful feature, but can you tell me what is the problem that we are trying to solve, or who does this benefit and how? If you would have just asked that question, they would have given you the deeper reason, or they would have told you that, hey, if we don't know this, can you figure this out for us as well? And that would have given you the reason to go back to the business stakeholders or the leadership team and the users as well, and ask them questions and figure out why this problem exists. What is the deeper motivation behind solving this for the organization as well as the users? And that is what I see missing in all the case studies that lack depth. Number 3, it's all about process has been followed like a checklist. And what I mean by that is all these new beginners have seen all those case studies where there is problem statement, then comes the research, there is a persona, there are some rough wireframes which no one understands what they are doing, and some visual design to end it all. And these new designers are just trying to fit in their process into the same structure, same cookie cutter template, if you will. While the truth remains that the process doesn't have to always start with a brief. It can very well start with an observation product team has, that a lot of people are adding items in their cart, but they are not making the purchase. There might be hundreds of reasons for it, but you have to figure out why it's happening in the first place, right? So the process can very well start with data or some sort of insight that comes from that data. So you don't have to fit your case study into the templates that you have seen. Just stay true to the problem that you're solving. And the checklist is not as important as the story that you tell, from going from the problem to the solution. Number 4, affinity mapping for the sake of just affinity mapping is not going to help me. I want to understand things. I don't want to be fooled by people, because there have been more cases where someone has just double tapped on something and zoomed in and saw that it's not even relevant. It's not even making sense. So might as well do some good work and just show it clearly. Instead of using all that dummy images, fake data, etc. Just talk about the real stuff, show the real problem, and write down whatever your findings were. Adding all those cool sticky notes just to look fancy or to show that you have done the ideation, it's not helpful because I'm not able to read it. So I don't know if you have done something right or if it's just a facade. So for me to evaluate that is not possible. So what you should do instead is show 5-6 sticky notes, or just make a table on the paper with your hand and just write down things which are easy to understand for me as a recruiter, and just gives me a perspective of, hey, this was the problem, this was the method that I have taken, and that's how I have landed on a solution. And that is going to help me more than any sort of sticky notes or anything that you do. Number 5, just presenting a gallery of images as your solution. So after you have explained it to me that how significant this problem is, who you are solving it for, the process you have taken, I want to look at the solution and not the way you are thinking about it. So what I've seen most people do is they put a gallery of images, just screens after screens after screens of visual design. And that doesn't help me. So what you have to do is you have to also explain it to me how you're solving the problem you have mentioned above. So you don't have to show all the screens that you have designed. You just have to show a few screens, but also tell me, hey, this is the problem we talked about earlier, and this is the solution that goes with it. And if you're able to do that, I'll be able to see, hey, you went from this problem to this particular screen and this is how you're solving it. And that just gives me more confidence in you as a designer. So instead of playing very vague, focus on showing the real stuff and add annotations, add highlights with your images or with your mockups to explain, hey, this is the solution that I have done to a problem mentioned above. If you're an aspiring UX designer, do let me know in the comments what are the struggles or the challenges that you're facing in a job interview process, and I'll try to help you in the comments or create a video on the same. That was all for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, happy designing.